All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Crunchtime. This is episode 8. I'm not Reese Britt because he is hopefully on the tee box of hole 16 right now in South Carolina. But I am Christian Hunt, and joining me today is, as usual, Dylan Walton to my right, and then Mr. Trey Whiteowl is back again in the saddle to my left. Guys, how are we doing? It is April now, which is bonkers to me.
I could be much better. You already know about my computer, and
Yeah.
there's nothing much else I can really do with it. For the most part, I'm fine. Just I just wish I had a lot less stress going on than what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Dylan, how's your April going so far? We survived the storms that were supposed to kill us all yesterday.
Yeah, we did. But not the storm that's going on in my life. No, I'm just playing. T-minus what?
A month.
32 days?
Yeah.
We wrapping it up, man. I think it's starting to hit now. So
Mhm.
I think it's starting to hit that I'm taking another step in my life. And, I'm excited. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I'm sad. I'm happy. I'm crying. I got to mix a bunch of emotions. But you know what's all these emotions come with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We doing this, and I get to disappear for a little while and then go back into reality once I leave. But, I'm
Yeah.
excited, though, nevertheless.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
It's a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Which is what we all need. But yeah, so things for me are good. I appreciate everybody reaching out to me last week and whatnot. So that was awesome. But yeah, we're back in the saddle. It's good to be back this week. And so yeah, guys, we got a lot to talk about this week, and we're gonna start with baseball. The baseball team did come off a loss, I believe it was last night, to Evansville, 13-6, which is tough to see. And then APSU baseball is also coming off their first ASUN series loss. So they lost the series against Kennesaw State this past weekend. So that's a little bit of a tough stretch for baseball, especially after getting off to an extremely hot start to the season. It was tough for APSU as they dropped the first game 7-5. They won the second game 14-2, then dropped game 3 in a tough manner 12-11. APSU was up 11-9 in the bottom of the ninth of the third game. But Kennesaw State was able to force the games to extra innings, winning on a RBI single, as you see the graphic here. This puts the Govs now at 16-12 on the season, 5-4 in the conference. They currently sit third in the ASUN because Stetson and Jacksonville are tied for first, and Kennesaw is right in front at second. And then you can see as well the next matchup, or the next time you'll see the Govs baseball team in action, will be at home against Bellarmine this weekend. So, guys, a little bit of a tough stretch for APSU baseball, especially after giving off to the rock and roar start they did. Now we're sitting at 16-2. Now we're kind of in the dog days of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think this is just kind of a midseason slump? Do you think maybe reality's kind of set in a little bit? Like, what are your thoughts behind this? A little bit of a slump here, Mr. Baseball aficionado himself, Trey Whiteowl.
I'm not sure about baseball aficionado, but honestly, I think it's kind of what we mentioned before. I think last week the pitching for Austin Peay baseball is just not that good.
Yeah, it's not.
No, it's not.
There's no real reason behind it either. They've got guys in there that can be good. I think you put somewhere that Andrew Devine apparently has an ERA of 2.81, and that's the best by like a mile. Since
by
the
a
other
country
starting
mile.
pitcher is like at a 5. Just in general, I think it's Austin Peay. I think understands like they are not a great pitching team right now, and they need to solve it.
There's no way to solve it now, at least for this moment.
It's
Unless your infielders and outfielders just play hero ball, for the rest of the year.
And then you can have stuff like I'm trying to remember a good baseball player for this reference. Unless you pull like a Blake Snell from last season, he started off all like for the first 8 or 9 games, he wasn't that good. Then they got in Gary Sanchez, and all of a sudden he was just lights out every single time. But I think the most runs he gave up the entire rest of the season was 2 against the Dodgers, and that's basically what they need right now. They need somebody to like step up in a gigantic way, because if you are continuing this and have only one guy who you can even reliably like bring out, when other teams probably have like 2 or 3 guys going out there that they can rely upon, your offense is going to get worn down. It's going to get beaten to heck and back, and there's no other way to say it. They need somebody to step up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a midseason slump. I don't know if it's just reality setting in, but they just need somebody. Like, if I read correctly, they're like 1-5 in their last 5 road games and 2-3 in their last 5 home games as well.
That's just struggle.
It's not. Yeah,
that's just struggle.
Exactly. It's like it's not even a struggle. It's not even just a struggle at home. It's a struggle on the road, and that.
It's an internal struggle.
Yeah, it's an internal struggle.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's just no other way to describe it. They need somebody on the starting end to actually like step in and step up.
Have y'all been to a couple baseball games?
Yes, I have.
I have to say I have not physically been to a baseball game yet,
But you've been watching them.
but I've been watching them.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say kid, but he older than me, probably older than y'all. I think he in his graduate year or something like that. But his name is Titan. Now, when I've been to like 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm putting the word out or not, but I'll be a reporter today. Scouts was I was sitting next to a group of scouts for the Red Sox, for the Mariners, for the Nationals, and the Braves, and 4 scouts was there, maybe one more. I was there clocking him. Soon as he was, he subbed in for whoever the other pitcher was. Everyone brought their clocks out, the speedometers out. Everybody, they got to writing ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, he for real." Fastballs, I want to say he threw about 12, 15 of them. Now, some of them was a little out of place, but he threw about 12, 15 of them, all 100 plus.
Golly.
It kind of reminds me of Paul Skeens with the Pirates right now. Like I think they clocked in like 16 or 21 of his pitches were at 100 plus miles an hour.
Yeah.
And he's a starter. So
I think I got a video on my phone, I think. So maybe you can include that.
So what you're telling me is we have Wild Thing from the movie Major League
Yep.
on our roster.
And his
You don't know where it's
3.27.
You don't know where it's going.
that's not bad.
That's
at
not
all.
bad. But you're teetering tighter in between good and bad.
Yeah. So he may not know where it's going, but it's going to get there
But that's
fast either way.
the control on the fastballs. It's hard to control a 100-mile ball.
And this is something that I remember hearing from one of there was a major league pitcher, Chris Bassett. He was talking about how there's been so many people who've been putting more emphasis on how fast you pitch.
Yeah.
And you all of a sudden see more arm injuries, less control all over your pitches. And when you have like the guys who throw 92 and 94 mile an hour fastball, all of a sudden they aren't really getting as injured as much.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't having the same amount of like injuries comparative to someone that's like throwing 100 plus miles an hour.
Well, it's kind of like a basketball player. Everyone wants a 7-foot basketball player, but then they sit there and wonder, well, why is the 7-footer always hurt? Well, it's because, I don't know if God intended for people to be 7 feet tall.
No, I don't think
I don't know if he meant for that to happen. I feel like we kind of
play basketball 82 to 100 games a year.
So, but I mean, you mentioned it, and we have, so I had this little tidbit on here, and I'm sure you guys looked at it, but not including the Evansville game, which I guess you can now include it because they gave up 13 runs, but so that would make it 6 out of their last 8 games.
In the Evansville game, they did give up 11 runs in total.
So that's 10 plus runs in 6 of their last 8 games that they've given up.
That's 60 plus points.
In baseball.
Yeah, in baseball.
In baseball. Now, again, I understand there's a lot of correlation with the pitch count or the pitch clock, I should say, because pitchers, they got to make a decision and go.
Mm-hmm.
They can't sit on a ball for 2 minutes like they used to be able to. So there's a little bit of wiggle room within that stat. But still, I mean, when you're giving up 10 plus runs in 75% of your games, I mean, that, like you said, that puts a major strain on your offense because now you realize, like, guys, we got to score 14 or 15 just to have a chance.
And the offenses aren't really built for that. They're more built to just straight up win the game, not to out and put Herculean numbers.
No, and I mean, Andrew Devon, like you said, he seems like he's the guy. He's 4-0. He's got an ERA of 2.8. I mean, the next guy is got like a 5.6.
I mean, that's kind of I don't know. I don't know what's up with the pitching, bro. Maybe you need to switch. Maybe whoever starts need to be a reliever and a closer. Maybe some type of way because this at some point in the game it's
Something's got to change.
the
Essentially,
rotation or something is obviously it's not working. So somebody got to come in at a different period of time because I don't know what to do because they don't want me out there pitching. I know that for sure. and at that point, I might as well. If we're gonna be out there, everybody hitting home runs. You might as well have me out there. I ain't never really been a pitcher in my life.
Yeah,
Never.
it's. I mean, you hope that with them playing Bellarmine, because and again, this is not to disparage Bellarmine in any way, but
A bad team's a bad team.
but they're
Yeah.
not a good team.
Yeah.
Okay,
you gotta beat the easy opponents to be able to match up and bring confidence and momentum into the bigger opponents and bigger and better perform.
because as of the time I wrote this, I don't know if they've had any more games. I'm sure they have, but as of the time I wrote this, they had won only 4 games. But a tidbit of that was 3 of their 4 wins was against A-Sun opponents.
Let's see, Bellarmine. Yeah, they've still only won 4 games.
Okay, so I mean, 75% of their wins are A-Sun opponents, and we have not had a sweep this season yet. The series that we've won have been 2 out of 3 games. So if there's a time to get a sweep,
It's now.
It's now.
How do you sweep a team? I know the sample size is small, but how do you sweep a team that's 70 or a good reason to be a bad team? They have a good size in the standings. How do you sweep a team that's got confidence in their conference?
Mhm.
Like that's kind of hard. Like they coming in here like we ain't really lost conference games for real. So and this team been struggling to pitch.
Right,
Let's-
but you've also only won 4 games out of what, like 27-ish, 28.
Hey, when you know you suck, you
28
take
games.
small
They're
goals.
4 and 20.
Yeah,
You take
well, I
small
mean
goals.
that is a thing that I'm sure their coach is looking at them going, guys. I mean, listen, we've only won 4 games, but 3 of them are in conference.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can kind of play with people's minds that way. And so again, it's
It's
like
the part of coaching.
it's part of coaching. And it's stuff like that makes me nervous. I'm like, knowing us, like we'll find a way to lose the series.
They'll give up. They'll hit 20. They'll hit 20 runs in one of those games. I can bet on it. They make 20 runs.
Well, we got to find a way for that not to happen. But they will be playing them this weekend. And then we talked about the pitching. I mean, short term, I think it's just maybe you add more rotation. Maybe instead of your starting pitcher going 4 or 5 innings,
Not
maybe
2 or 3.
maybe you go.
Maybe just have them go 2 or 3 innings and then set up someone for the long haul.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you got to find the little adjustments because, I mean, ideally you want to be able to throw a guy out there and be like, hey, you got 5 innings no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're going out there and your guy's giving up, 10-plus runs in 5 innings, it's just like, okay, you just dug a massive hole. But here's the thing. It's not just the starters. It's also the relievers.
Yeah.
There's a guy on our team that's only pitched like 11 innings that he's given up like a 13 ERA. Like, how does that happen? Did you just give up 20 runs in like 1 inning and they were just like, all right, there's nothing we can do? I mean, I don't like to single guys out, but it's like, dude, how does that math work out? You're giving up more than 1 run
If
per inning you've pitched.
If I'm looking at who you're talking to, is Luke Rollin and Josh Howitt. Both pitched 10, 11 innings. And the ERA is 10, 10.6, and 12.8.
That's brutal.
12 and 14 innings, I'm sorry.
That's brutal.
Yeah. But 10 and 12.
So that's a
ERA.
reliever that's given up. So it's not
Okay.
just the starters.
Can I take a guess on the
Well,
amount?
what's
You said
what's
that
Lyle?
there's 11 runs, right? So that's about, I think 1 run in ERA terms is, if you go for 1 full inning, that's, I believe, either a 27 ERA or it's a 9 ERA. Then you move on from there. I think that's about, close to 13 or 14 runs in 11 innings, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, 16-21.
What's Lyle Miller Green's? He's like a 5.6
Miller Green.
because he was the guy we were
Yeah.
talking about at the start
But
of
I
the
mean,
season.
he's the workhorse, low key.
Right,
From the
yeah.
games I've been to.
But he's the guy
workhorse.
that we kind of said at the beginning of the year, like he's going to be the guy we're going to lean on, and he's struggling.
I just think he wearing too many hats.
That's true. He does play like 70 positions.
We need him to field. We need him to hit. We
Yeah.
need him to pitch. Like
and maybe that's another thing. Like,
his
hey,
arm probably tied.
hey, maybe put somebody in the outfield for him.
Yeah.
But he is a really good hitter. That's the thing. He's a really good
It's
baseball
tough.
player.
The main problem is overuse. Like you were saying, we were saying it before. The starters in general, outside of one guy, are not good. So you're gonna have to start throwing him out more and more to just try and get some type of out, and you can't really rely upon anyone else in the bullpen because, well, not a lot of people in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been that amazing either. So based on that, you've now got Lyle Miller Green just constantly being used over and over and over again. So because there was a similar deal that happened Chicago last season. There was 3 pitchers for the Cubs that were going basically game in, game out, and they were gassed at the end. They started getting more and more runs. They started giving up more hits, allowed more walks, and that's because they were constantly being used. No one else was good enough. Everyone that could be was injured. You need to find somebody else.
Yeah.
Give somebody else some relief appearances to give Lyle Miller Green some chance to just calm down, get his arm a bit more rested, and I think then he should be better.
I think he needs to stop pitching, honestly. I think somebody needs to just step up.
Yeah.
He doing everything else. Let him. He wasn't really pitching last year, was he?
Yes, he was
pitching.
But not as much as he was this year?
I don't think he was pitching as much as he was last.
Because I've seen him pitch.
He's pitched a lot for
yeah.
us. I think he's I think he's pitched the most innings for us. If not, he's in the top 2. But it's
he up there. Yeah, he top 2.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to do something. But he can't because he can't wear all the hats.
Yeah, he need a break, bro.
Guys, we've talked about baseball for 15 minutes. Look at us.
Hey.
I mean, I know we have him with us.
I was just going to say he's the perfect guy to do it with. And then I'm jumping in right now. I think I want to buy the league pass.
Yeah.
I think I want to. I listen to the radio. Oh, that makes me sound old.
Yeah, well, we are old.
Yeah.
But before we move on, follow us on at APSU Crunchtime on the socials. That is Twitter, aka X, and Instagram. Go give us a follow if you haven't already. We try to post not everything. We can't do that, but we try to post a couple times a week, 3 or 4 times a week, depending on the schedule. Reese is a little bit busy at the moment, but go give us the socials if you haven't already. That's at APSU Crunchtime for both Twitter, X, and Instagram. So let's move on to the softball team, who's a little bit more of a positive side for them. The Lady Govs are coming off their first A-Sun Series win of the season, beating Bellarmine here at Kathy Maynard Park 2 out of the 2 out of 3 games. The Govs took the first win in a shutout 4-0, dropped Game 2 5-2, and then taking Game 3 6-3. Boy, that was a tongue twister. The Lady Govs are now 3-6 in the conference, as you see the graphic, and 17-17 overall, sitting 6th in the A-Sun. There's a couple teams in there that are tied, so we really should be like 8th or 9th, but there's a couple teams tied for their positions. Jordan Benefield sits at 9-8 on the season with an ERA of 2.31.
She locked in.
Dude, she's the most probably used pitcher out of anyone, both softball and baseball in any conference. I mean, you want to go look at her innings pitched. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
she's pitched 84 innings.
Whew.
The next pitcher for us, Samantha Miner, I hope I'm getting that name right, has pitched 80 innings, and then our third pitcher is Ashley Martin. She's only pitched 44 innings, and then that's it. There's like a handful of 5 or 6 inning. That's it.
Jeez.
So it's like he mentioned earlier, we got 3 pitchers, and not even really that. We got 2.5 pitchers. So Jordan Benefield, she is a busy woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also saw on the graphic as well, they will next take on the Lady Mocs in Chattanooga, and the Lady Mocs are 24-8 overall, 6-0 in conference play. So a little bit of a tough test for the Govs on the road for the against the Lady Mocs. They will next see action for A-Sun this weekend against Jacksonville. I mean, we kind of talked about it with baseball, but when you have essentially 2 pitchers I say 2. I mean, Ashley Martin's thrown 44 pitches, so I can't say only 2. But you have 2 pitchers that have pitched 80. I know softball's a little bit different, but
was it 7 innings?
It's 7 innings.
Yeah.
And a little bit more of a condensed field. The pitching, what's the difference between baseball and softball from the pitcher and the catcher?
Mm-hmm.
What's the feet difference, Trey? Do you know?
Oh.
Off the top of your head? Or
Off the top of my head, I don't really know.
It's shorter, though. It's much shorter.
Oh, the feet, it's definitely much shorter in comparison.
But anyway, but still, you can't have 2 pitchers being your entire pitching staff.
I was gonna make a joke, but was gonna say the Brewers have done it for years, so don't
Well,
worry about that.
I'm not a softball expert, so I'm not going to pretend to be. But I would think you want at least like
You want at least 3 or 4 to be some of your main guys, main people, so that way it gives a lot less time for the other pitchers in your starting rotation, and then gives most of your bullpen at least some rest, so that way you can just manage the innings, manage the opponents that they face, and just create the best possible matchups. That's so having 2.5, as you said earlier, is still a lot easier and simpler than what the baseball team is doing, has happening with them, but it's still how would I say, it's still a bit of a struggle when those three are your top pitchers, with the third being at 44 innings and the other 2 are just clearing. It's easier for them than it is.
I saw you had a thought, Dylan. What you got?
No, answer your question. It's a 17-foot 6-inch difference. Softball is 43 feet, and it's a MLB college men's is 60 feet 6 inches.
Yeah, so you got.
It don't seem that far.
No, but it is a much more
That's
condensed.
Far. That's far. I didn't know.
I mean,
that.
I think it's like 90 feet to each bag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean softball is it's much more condensed.
Yeah.
Is just the easiest way to describe it.
But I just didn't know it was that far. That's far.
Yeah.
40 feet is far regardless.
Yeah.
But 60 feet is just much more than that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But still, I mean, either way, that's still essentially 2 pitchers, 2.5 pitchers that we have.
And you throwing that constantly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, you've got. I mean, we're 17-17, so that's 34 games. I mean, granted, we've had some games canceled due to weather, but Jordan Benefield, that means she has started and at least finished
She's played in 17, literally
games.
half of them.
Well, she's appeared in like 20-something.
Oh, so she was able to bat?
I read the stat the other night. It's like she's appeared in like 21 games. Because, I mean, I don't know what the rule is with softball with like a pitcher getting the count for the record or whatnot, but for like the win-loss record. That's weird with baseball too, like how it's like you have to pitch for like a certain amount.
Oh yeah, she got a bunch of games where she just pitched 1 inning, 2
I was gonna
innings.
say,
Yeah.
Hey,
So
for
she can
baseball's like 5 innings at bare minimum and 3 run. I think it's like 5 innings bare minimum if you get the winning pitcher, and then if you're losing, it's whatever innings you pitched.
Yeah. But so I mean that sounds like she's had a couple games where she's come in for relief. So not only are you starting, but you're relieving. I mean that is a lot of workload on a human being.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, all of their pitchers are throwing pretty good. Strikeouts, she got 102. Martin has 42 and 30. That's almost 200 strikeouts.
Mhm.
Nobody's really pitching a bad ERE. 2.3 for Jordan, 2.7 for Ashley Martin, and a 3.4 for Samantha. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they're not bad numbers, but at the same time,
that's all you got though.
that's all you got. So I mean, you're sitting there 17-17. I mean, how long can they keep this up?
Yeah,
You know, because I mean, at some point, that's going to catch up to you.
yeah.
It may not be today, it may not even be next week, but you know, I mean, when you're relying on 3 people essentially to carry your entire pitching staff, I mean that is. I don't know. That's just, it's, at least for me, it seems like that doesn't seem like a good recipe for success.
It's not really that much good of a recipe.
But I mean, at least I'd rather have 3 really good pitchers than have 5 or 6 and 2 are bad, because that's essentially the same. When you think
Right.
about it.
But you got to have somebody come in to relieve.
Yeah, somebody.
That's not your other starting pitcher.
Well, it depends now. Now we need to ask the question: Is Jordan starting every? Is it the same rotation every game? Because then at that point, maybe we could see. I mean, you could see fatigue and injury if you change the rotation either. Because if their body is comfortable, Jordan coming out 1 through 3, Ashley comes 4, 5, 6, and what's the other lady's name? Samantha. She come to close. You know, you can have fatigue and injuries when you change the rotation or keep them the same, because the body works. If anybody who knows the human body to a small degree, one slight difference can change anything.
Oh, if you get out of a sleep cycle, especially me, like I was out of my sleep cycle this whole past week, and coming back yesterday, I did not sleep worth a wink.
Yeah.
Monday night because I was so out of my routine.
So
I was
never
going to
know.
say something else that does help that, and I think it's why Jordan's showed up in a lot more games. offense also has to do with a lot of it.
Yep.
Because if your offense is not really producing much, but you're in the lead or you're just behind, you need someone that you can trust to go in and at least keep it close.
And Jordan's that.
Yep, Jordan's that. Who was the other ones? Samantha Minor and then Ashley Martin. Those two who are the only other two that you immediately say, yeah, no, we trust them inexplicably.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, then your offense also has to start getting going as well. Like, what was the thing we were talking about the last time? The fact that Austin Peay's baseball's pitching was the main problem.
And for softball, it seems like it's the hitting.
Yeah, it's
they can't score enough runs at times.
Yeah, they just leave people on base. They can hit.
Yeah.
They can hit. They just leave people on base.
So if the offense just keeps going, then that's going to lower the amount of uses for Jordan. That's going to lower the amount of uses for Samantha. And maybe Ashley Martin starts to get more and more involved with the offense. More and more involved with pitching. So that way it just takes down usage.
It's split somewhere.
Yep. No doubt. Let's see. We are going to move on to golf as our guy Reese Britt and the men's and the women's are both in Pawleys Island, South Carolina.
Yep.
The men's are in the Any Given Tuesday Intercollegiate, and they will finish up today. And I believe the women finish up today as well. They are in the Golf Week Program Challenge. We have our live scoring right here.
Awesome.
So Austin Peay
there we go.
That's tough.
Yep. So Austin Peay is currently tied for 4th. So I made this graphic earlier today. So they were 5th. We have moved up to 4th. So this graphic is incorrect, but that was because it was made 3 hours ago. And then our boy Reese Britt is currently shooting. I believe he is -3. He is -2 right now, according to the score sheet. But he is tied for 12th. So overall. So good job, Reese.
Lock in, twin.
Keep doing your thing. According to this, he still has he still has 16, 17, and 18 to go.
Just them 3 holes.
So he's got the back stretch and he's done. So hopefully he can.
Oh, he finna lock in and push the top 10.
Yeah, we need to get the home stretch here, Reese. So shout out to him. And then who did I have on here? I had the women's. Let's see. I don't know. I had it up there on the graphic. You saw it on the graphic, but the Lady Govs, they are currently, I believe, in 7th. Do you mind, Paige or Isabella, whoever? Do you mind throwing the graphic back up so we can see it? I know I put it on the graphic.
I think I saw it was 6th on the graphic.
Yeah, it was like 6th or 7th. Yeah. If you guys could throw it up, if not, it's not the big. There we go.
They said at 4th.
They're 4th. There we go.
Wow.
All right, excuse me. Let's see. Oh, that's a softball graphic. We can show them too. They're doing their thing, but yeah, they're 4th. So hey, good job to the Lady Govs team. I know, Isabella, we tossed you a softball or tossed you a curveball there.
No, we did.
But yeah, so both golf teams seem to be doing really well. Reese Britt just come home, finishes strong. He seems to be doing really well. He's locking in, man. And I got into golf. I'm getting into golf. I went and played this weekend. I'm playing again this weekend.
It's fun after a bit.
Oh, dude, it's so fun. But I'm waiting for that moment to where, like, right now it's fun because I don't care much. I'm waiting for that moment where I hit a bad shot and I just, like, break my club. I'm waiting for that moment. So
that'll be when you go for a full round.
Well, I played 9, and I shot it was a 29 for 9 holes, and I hit 50. So I was plus 21. But that's not including my handicap, which means, like, because I'm terrible. So that wasn't including the handicap. That's just what my pure score was. But anyway, let's get out of here, guys. It's been fun. We'll see each other on the role players. But shout out to David Ellison, Doc V, and Steve Sawyer for making the show happen. Huge shout out to Isabella Christensen for directing this one, and Paige Hearn. She will get us on the next episode of Role Players. But guys, this has been Crunchtime. We'll see you guys next week with Reese Britt, hopefully back in the saddle. But this is Crunchtime. Peace out.